WST.net, mixing up our Baltimore positive, our sports, and our music. And the Baltimore angle of this one is delicious. Everyone knows we're always promoting the things at the Modell Lyric, coming up next week at the Modell Lyric. And yes, it's been a little while since I've had a Zappa experience. The Frank Zappa experience is coming to Baltimore, and here to talk about it is one of his offspring. He had several famous ones from back in the day. Ahmet Zappa joins us now, along with Jeff Pizzuti from Illusion, and we are bringing a hologram experience of Frank here to the Modell Lyric. First off, welcome in, gentlemen. Ahmet, Jeff, welcome, and I think anyone who's ever loved Frank Zappa or knows the music, and certainly here locally, there's a whole Baltimore angle to Frank's career and his life. This is going to be a fascinating evening down at the Modell Lyric.
Well, yeah, thanks for having us, first off. We agree.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, when I hear hologram, the first thing is I haven't experienced it. I've sort of seen it on TV and sort of Coachella and futuristic. Give me a little background on how all of this works, Ahmet, because I would think that there's so much video, scrapbook footage, all sorts of stuff of your pop that putting something together in the modern era might be something that maybe even 20 years ago you couldn't have even imagined, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just want to, clarify for the listeners out there. A lot of people focus on the aspect that there's holographic projection in the show, which is awesome. But I kind of feel like it's a much bigger, immersive, multimedia experience that I'm not sure that people, they got to fasten their seatbelts if they come to the show. I mean, it's so much more than this buzzword around the hologram. And I mean, I've been loving people's reaction, and just from a Zappa standpoint, it's very much, I feel like I'm completing something that my father wanted to do, something that he started many years ago. And he wrote about wanting to start his own hologram company in the Frank Zappa book, the real Frank Zappa book, in chapter 18, if people are interested. So, and he always filled my head with these, my dad was a futurist. He was always using the latest and greatest technology, and as it pertains to wanting to create his own, hologram company, I think he was really, foreshadowing where we are today. I mean, if you think about that, one of the opportunities is certainly if artists have passed away, we're able to, at Illusion, create these totally immersive experiences that should feel like magic tricks, for the audience. But it's first and foremost always about the music. And what I want people to understand is that this show, if you are a Zappa fan, if you closed your eyes, if you forgot about the visuals for a second, you get to hear Frank, his vocals, his guitar, performances, for the most part, that no one has ever heard before. And he's playing with people he loved to be on stage with. I mean, it's an amazing night of music. The best part is, if you open your eyes, you're going to see things that, are kind of unforgettable visuals. It is truly an epic night. It's, I'm so proud of what we've all done together. It took a village. It took a lot of, a leap of faith for the band. We pushed ourselves really, hard from a hardware perspective, from a visual perspective, to really do something that's a love letter to my dad, but also a big love letter to the fans and a thank you. It's a great experience, and I think the people that come down, if you see me walking around in the audience, I'll be dancing with you. I'm throwing out hugs and high fives, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, the show is May 3rd. It's down at the Modell Lyric, and you can always go to Modell-Lyric to find out more. I also have Jeff Pizzuti here along with Ahmet Zappa. Jeff, I want to bring you into the conversation on the Illusion side. And when we say hologram, and there is such a buzzword about it, and I think for people that haven't seen it, we're all sort of like, hey, what is that? We've seen it on television or whatever. What would an evening look like, or in a period of time, an extended period of time? All of this you need old technology to bleed the new. You need these images to come to life. Tell me about how all of this works and the conceptualization of, hey, we can do this. We can put the band back together after Frank has left us over a quarter of a century ago, and we have enough footage and enough way to make this something that people want to come and pay and be wowed by it.
Yeah, I mean that was the overall concept is to wow. I mean, we set out on that mission from the onset. Let's do something incredible. But when we do it, we actually take a step back and say, what does a fan want to see? We build the shows as if because Ahmet and I are both massive music fans, and we build it with wearing that hat. And and when it comes to the show itself and the hologram word, I agree with him, and we've talked about this too from the standpoint of hologram is a great buzzword, and people love to talk, from the standpoint of, seeing something new, if they want to call it new. But we create these illusions because we want people to come, suspend disbelief and literally come enjoy the show. You're at a rock concert at the end of the day. So Frank is on stage. Frank is in multiple forms on stage. The band is killer. The lights are great. The visuals that surround the magic trick in the middle are amazing. And we are, like I said, it's just super proud of the overall show. But yeah, when it comes down to getting into the tech, it's like to us, it's like we kind of downplay that part of it because what we're doing is creating an amazing show.
Well, Ahmet, for you in doing this and putting Dad's show on the road with some sort of realism, look, I've been to Bowie exhibits right up in New York, and I've seen the Pink Floyd exhibits, and we've seen these things come into into these massive spaces and museums where you can walk through. The inspiration for you to bring this thing to a stage, when did it begin, and when did it become truly a reality? Because I'm sure you've thought for a long time, what do I do with all of Dad's stuff, right?
I mean, yeah, my day-to-day is I'm totally immersed in putting out new records, working on new projects, and when Jeff approached us about doing a tour with Frank, think of it from an emotional standpoint. For me, it's the idea of being able to have Frank back out on the road. Selfishly, I think any son who's lost a parent, and in my case, my father being a musician and wanting him so badly to be in my life, this was an incredibly emotional journey. And I want to try to give context. I mean, I'm listening to the questions that you're asking, and a lot of the stuff when you're talking about the, audio or video, those are kind of inspiration. The audio specifically, we wanted to pull things that would be new to the audience. So we've actually every night we're world premiering new pieces of music of Frank's that no one's ever heard before, and they get to hear performances of songs they love that are also new to their ears. And the visual aspects, I kind of lean towards the early 70s stuff. So, we decided to kind of creatively start there. And I think that's kind of my dad's most recognizable look. And in my mind's eye as a kid, that's how I always see him. So,
well, the music was so varied, though, right? There's so many genres, when you were culling together a night you don't want it to be a greatest hits package, right? I mean, you wanted to do something different and something new, but that would be the thing to do 25 years later, is just to put up what the people want or what the greatest requests would be or any of that stuff. It doesn't sound like that's at all what you were trying to do, right?
No, I mean, well, I think it's kind of funny when you say greatest hits with my dad. I mean, he's never really got radio play, so
sure.
that's totally arbitrary, which is good. Which is good. I mean, we just followed our hearts and our songs that we really liked, and put the show together in that way. I mean, you do go on this emotional journey. I think the creative for me, my young 15-year-old mind and my super comic book nerdy brain, I like to think that my father, when he passed away, was just kind of becoming cosmic energy and going out into the cosmos, kind of like the Silver Surfer, to play concerts for the rest of the galaxy, right? And that was just one of the ways I kind of processed the pain back then, and it really kind of actually manifested itself in at least a storyline for me, in putting the visuals together for the show. So, I like to think he's harnessing enough cosmic energy to come back and perform for people, night to night before he's expended a lot of it and has to go back and recharge back out into the cosmos. And you do go on this journey. Every song has its own different visual aesthetic. It's all rooted in shared experiences that I had with my father, in things that I knew that he liked, art styles that he liked. There's moments in the show, and I think fans, when they have an expectation of seeing, my dad's music, is they want to see improvisation. So we really tried to build a show that takes into account, and we do this for every artist that we work with at Illusion when we're building something, but specifically with Frank, we want to honor the way that he had shows, and I think we have captured his absurd nature, his sense of humor. It's really gratifying, especially the band, who were the first people to take a leap of faith, because we really wouldn't be able to do what we're doing without their passion and their commitment. But they've expressed that, and since Frank's passing, or since they left the band, they've played in other cover bands or with other people that play Frank's music. And it is totally humbling and gratifying to hear these guys who love Frank so much feel like the show that's been put together, it feels like they remember they feel Frank's spirit when they play, and if you have an opportunity to talk with them, they'll express this to you, and it brings tears to my eyes. And it's a wonderful night of music. I'm totally biased, of course, as my dad. So, anytime I get to experience something with Frank, it just feels like I get closer to my father. But, it is a magical night.
He is Ahmet. Go ahead, sir.
So different.
Ahmet Zappa joining us here. We lost Frank Zappa, the world did, on December 4th, 1993. Ahmet lost his pop. Jeff Pizzuti is also with Illusion. Together, they are presenting the bizarre world of Frank Zappa. That's going to happen on May 3rd down at the Modell Lyric. You can learn more about all of that out there. The one thing about Frank that I always knew, and I was a music critic in the late 80s at The Sun and talking to people, and I never spoke with your pop, but there was a Baltimore connection, always. And now you look on Wikipedia and you see all the work and you see all the art and all of that. It always says born in Baltimore, Maryland, right? So we're in Baltimore and the show comes back. Baltimore sort of embraced Frank very much in the hometown. We don't have a lot of musicians from here. He was one of those guys.
And we've had some amazing experiences. I love Baltimore, by the way. I'm so happy to be going back. I love the food. I love the people.
Come on in. We're getting a crab cake. Let's do it, Ahmet.
No, of course. We just lost a really dear friend of my father's. My dad loved John Smothers. Smothers was my dad's bodyguard, and so much more than that. There's lots of songs written about him. He just passed, so I just want to give a big, loving shout out to Freckles, his lady and
his lady friend.
Yeah, they were extended family, and so God bless to John. I'm sure he's hanging out with Frank, and they're having many laughs and probably driving my mother crazy with their antics, but. Baltimore is a really special place, and I want to say, I might be messing up the name, so forgive me, but the Pratt Free Library, I believe.
Enoch Pratt, absolutely, that's correct.
Yeah, that place, we had an amazing moment. I think they renamed that. There's a little sign that says Frank Zappa Way, and there's a bust of my father there, and that was so meaningful to all of us. I think it is important when you think about where people are born, and it shapes so much of their lives. And
it's in Highlandtown, by the way, so I walk those streets every Saturday of my life in front of the Southeast Anchor branch of the Enoch Pratt Free Library in Highlandtown. So come by and see the Zappa sculpture. How about that, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be going there, and paying my respects. I mean, anytime I go to Baltimore, I try to burn a candle or, the people have always been so welcoming with Frank, and I hope to see many faces and friends I've met in Baltimore, and it's very unusual to get this kind of love for Frank. It's an awesome city. I mean, I'm stoked.
Nice.
It's awesome too because of all the attention Frank's getting now, with all the reviews and the press and everything. It couldn't have gone better from the standpoint of the public reception too. So we're super excited.
Jeff, your role in this in Illusion. Tell me what Illusion is and all of the holographic sort of work that can be done into the future. I mean, I said to my wife that we're going to be seeing this, into the future because so many artists, as they pass, as they age, this is going to be a way to have that experience with an artist if they want it.
Totally, and we started the company. It's going to almost 4 years now. But it was built from the standpoint of how we're going to pass legacy music acts to the next generation. That was the concept. Guys that couldn't perform or are performing, and doing it with obviously technology, but also creating great shows. My whole thing was, as a fan, and I'm the same way. When we go to see a show, it's all about the show itself, right? It's the music, but what's happening around it, and we started putting together this concept. That's exactly how it started. It was like, I want to go back in time and see Ronnie James Dio again.
I saw him with Black Sabbath at the Baltimore Civic Center, 1982. Yeah. I have some fond memories of my own. Jeff Pizzuti, Ahmet Zappa, rock and rollers at heart, bringing the magic, the music, and the bizarre world of Frank Zappa home, as they would say here to Baltimore. It's at the Modell Lyric on May 3rd. Go to modell-lyric.com. All of the original musicians, you want to give them a shout out, Ahmet? I'll give the names here, but I want you to talk about the musicians a little bit because I know music's your love and your background as well. To get on stage and play this music, that's something you had to put together in this show as well.
Yeah, I mean, the guys, these are really people Frank loved to play with. The only person in the band that didn't actually get a chance to play with Frank, but toured with my brother for many years. I was in a band with him for many years. Joe Travers, who's our vaultmeister, he works on all the record releases as well. So he really is extended family. And
sort of the ultimate Zappa fan, sort of, kind of?
I mean, he's so much more than that. But yeah, he definitely knows he's got an encyclopedic mind when it comes to Frank. He's invaluable to me. I mean, I've learned so much from him, so really grateful for all of his efforts and all things, that we do at the ZFT. But on top of that, I mean, I would say first and foremost, he's one of the best drummers in the world. He's super, super talented, and he just crushes it night to night. So Joe Vaultmeister Travers is on drums. We have Mike Keneally, who played guitar with my dad, joining us, and Scott Tunis, and actually Joe, Scott, Mike, and I, we're in the band together. So, it's great. It's always fun to catch up with those folks.
I saw Kenny Aronoff's name on your roster too, and I'm like, he can hit the skins a little bit too, right?
Kenny works with us at Illusion, and he's part of what we do. But in terms of he's not playing in the shows. Although that would be really fun, actually.
Really fun, exactly. Yeah.
We should ask him to come out.
That's what I thought. Man, to bring him in. I saw him with the Bodines once.
Yeah, but listen, these guys, I met them when I was so young, and they were always so generous with me as being a fly on the wall, just wanting to just be in the middle of it all. Because I've always loved the music, so to have Ed Mann and who's also in percussion and crazy sound effects, and he's an insane person in the best way. Robert Martin, unbelievable vocalist, saxophone player, keyboards, and Ray White on rhythm guitar and voice of an angel. These are genuinely people that Frank just played so many shows with these guys, and they hold it down, and they are having the best time. You can just see it. They're having so much fun. And that's where we started. We're like, there's no real reason to do this unless we're all doing it for the right reasons and celebrating Frank, and let's just have a good time. And all the stories I get to hear on the bus every night. So I'm like I'm sure I can't swear on this radio program, but I'm a pig, and
I got it. I
the
understand.
expression.
Hey,
But,
man.
Great.
You guys bringing this thing to Baltimore, bringing it home. I am delighted you took 20 minutes out of your day to explain it all to me. When I heard about it, I'm like, this needs to be explained to me. So now that we got the explanation, we'll help you sell some tickets, get some folks down. The Bizarre World of Frank Zappa is on May 3rd. It's at the Modell Lyric. Ahmet Zappa, Jeff Pizzuti here from Illusion, as well as the whole Frank Zappa team, and bringing the music and the magic back home to Baltimore, including Highlandtown. Get yourself a G&A Coney Island while you're over in Highlandtown, all right? Ahmet, appreciate you, man.
I will do.
You got it.
We're looking forward to the crab cakes.
Well,
for those crab cakes.
I will make sure you eat no tourist crab cake in my town, gentlemen.
Hey, whoever wants to get stuck on one of those duck boat tours in the middle of the water, just let me know. You'll see me out there.
Hey, listen, here's what we got. We have these giant dragon boats down at the harbor, and you rent those and you paddle out. So,
what we doing those? Are you allowed to drink on them? Because that's usually what we do.
Take a drink and a sandwich, I was going to say, because once you're out in the middle of the water, it's Baltimore. We don't have any rules. We barely have a mayor.
I love it. Love it.
See you guys next week, man. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Ahmet Zappa joining us here. Jeff Pizzuti from Illusion and the Bizarre World of Frank Zappa coming to the Modell Lyric. Frank Zappa of Baltimore returning home. There's some rock and roll for you. You can find us out in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. The morning newspaper delivers digitally, courtesy of our friends at Planet Fitness at planetfitness.com. Always $5 down, $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.